So, Sean, okay, let's do this. I think I'm not sure if you are aware, but I'm currently working in Saudi, and doesn't matter where we are, the nurses on the floor are having a really tough time. Place where I am, we have inpatients and we have OPD patients, and we have a COVID ward. And in the COVID ward, we have for COVID ICU patients and COVID isolation patients. And the COVID ward, the staff are really at critical level because working abroad, many people since COVID started have opted to go home. And so the working force over the last year, we've had only people leaving and no people coming in. Obviously, the need on the ground is still the same. So you just have this burden that becomes more excessive every time we have another wave going. And then where do you get the staff if there is no staff coming in? In South Africa, we don't have as much of a problem with staff because if the country is quite big, and if we can source them, they can come in and they can work. But we also in South Africa, the problems with the COVID is so much worse, and the hospitals are quite badly affected. Before I left in March, I was working in a hospital in Kempton, and the same kind of fatigue that they have, because so much to do and not enough hands. And if you don't have enough people to nurse these critically ill patients, they can't have a break. They can't have rests. They are continuously called back to come and work because there is no one else. And it's not so easy to get staff from a normal ward to come and work in a COVID ward, because then they have to kind of like look after them and isolate them and make sure that, you know, they don't put any of their loved one or the people that live with them at risk. So it's really a huge thing. And I think also I have been doing interviews of late, also on Skype interviews with specifically nurses from the Philippines. And I think their situation is just as desperate. The nurses that I have spoken with who have been working in COVID units, you can see the tiredness, the emotional fatigue in their eyes, that they are so beyond tired. And the best we can do for everybody is, I think, we need to start caring for our nurses, and the caring can start within the nursing family. We kind of like only think about our own problems, but I believe that by looking at what we can do on your own for your fellow colleagues, and especially those who are working with the COVID patients, we can find small ways to give them a little boost of energy, to give them a break when they so desperately need it. And all we need to do is to just really stop and to put ourselves in their shoes and to see what we can do to make it a little bit easier. for those nurses who are so desperately working in these units, I want to tell them that their services are much appreciated. That we cannot cope with this kind of thing without them. And the thankfulness, and I don't know, it's just, it's my gratefulness that they are there and that they are going through what they are going through is so heavy. And I pray for God's blessing on them, just to give them the strength and the energy to persevere just a little bit longer, and for the Lord to put people on their paths that would be able to touch their lives, and to give them that kind of just a little bit of energy left, that they would keep strong and that they would be able to keep healthy just to keep on going. But I also pray for their leaders, that the people who lead them will not be blind for the fact that they are human beings, that they need rest, that they need encouragement, and that they need a thank you. And nurses are so eager to care and to love, and they always just give and give. But like any kettle, it needs refilling. And we, in between the waves, we have to find ways and means to fill those kettles. And just by paying a little bit of attention, making them feel special and appreciated, and that we actually understand what they are going through, the sacrifices that they are making. It is unbelievable to think that if you are in a normalness, you will put on your uniform and you will go to work and you'll come back same kind of way. But if you're working with COVID patients, you have a totally different ball game. You may have to change your clothes before you come back into your house, to take a shower even at the job site. The physical wear and tear of the masks and the protective gear that you have on, all of that, it takes an extra load. The fact that it is so difficult to actually get out of those clothes that they wear just to have a bathroom break. These are things that we don't think about. And I think it's time that we do. Yes. And it's time that we kind of like give them a hug, you know? And I think especially in this time where it's all about social distancing and all about keeping distance from one another, this is especially a time that we need to find a way to show that we care